We are 6 lines to the bottom page. What we're dealing with here, the last point that we had in yesterday's class needs to be explained now. Because yesterday was a very long shiur, it was very involved, and I told you that I wanted to get back to it. We are dealing with a mayach leiv beinani, the long short type of beinani, as opposed to the short type of beinani, which we're going to get to in chapter 18, Perek Yud Ches. At the moment we're talking about a mayach leiv beinani. He learns, he thinks, he develops feelings in his heart. The first 8 lines of the Perek dealt with a person that's called the avodah tamah lebeinani. Avodah tamah lebeinani means he develops full-blown avas Hashem, and Yiras Hashem, this is the highest madrega. From that point forward, he brought a person who, for reasons that are out of his control, he cannot develop passions for Hashem in his heart. His heart is too dense. It's in a state of ibur. His neshama is curled up, and as a result, he cannot develop full-blown avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem. Only betalubas talumas that betvunas meicha talumas libe, in a hidden state. But the guy tells himself, I want to be connected to Hashem. I don't have feelings for Hashem. I'll do the mitzvahs anyway. So he has essentially domino 1, limud he has. Domino 2, his abundance he has. Domino 4, asiyah he has. He's missing domino 3, ava and yira. Says the Alter Rebbe to him, cannot be. If you think about Hashem, if you learn about Hashem and think about Hashem, and you do the mitzvahs, you do have domino 3. You do have some measure of Hashem and Yiras Hashem. Otherwise you wouldn't do it. Because he says, the fact of the matter is, every person likes themselves more than they love Yiddishkeit. So if you're oived elakim, in other words, you're fighting the Yetzer Hara, or oived elakim, yosim gilusa, you're going past your limitation, there's no way you're doing it simply from his abundance. There's got to be a little feeling in your heart. It's just hidden. And the terminology in the Tanya is kach yoasa, this is how it should be. And the language that I adopted in teaching it to you is a bissel Yiddish hats. There's got to be some Yiddish hats involved. Pintel Yid is a natural thing. We're dealing with ahava, which comes through his abundance. A bissel Yiddish hats that you create through your own effort and through your own work, but it's not fully manifest. And the Alter Rebbe connected it to another interesting idea. And that's the idea of parchal yela, of flying upwards. It says in Zohar that when we do mitzvahs, you don't want him to stay in the world. You want him to go up into the Beis HaMikdash. Okay? There's 4 worlds, or 5 worlds, counting the physical world. At the center of each world there's a Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash is the place of Kedusha, of Alakus. A Shechina rests there. And the Beis HaMikdash is the Esses Sfiris. In this world, it's the Beis HaMikdash HaGashmi, which is in Yerushalayim. And Beis HaMikdash Shalmayla is Mechuvin Keneged Beis HaMikdash Shalmata. So every world has a center, the Beis HaMikdash. Nobody lives in the Beis HaMikdash. We live in the world. Neshamas and Malachim and Atzilas, Bri, Yitzin, Asiyah, Yotzav, and Nifredu. Nobody lives in the Beis HaMikdash, live in the world. However, the Torah and mitzvahs that we do are deposited into the Beis HaMikdash of a particular world. Okay? And then, how does it work? A neshama, a person lived in this world and died, goes back to whatever world, Bria. He has levushim. The garments of the mitzvahs he performed, he takes with him. The mitzvahs themselves are in the Beis HaMikdash. The Beis HaMikdash has windows. No door, can't enter, but it has windows. And the light shines through the windows into the Olam HaBriya, from the Beis HaMikdash to the Olam HaBriya. And the more levushim you have, the more you can conduct the light. That's how it works.
Where do you store the mitzvahs and levushim stuff?
This you carry with you, it comes with you. But the oil, the kavanah, the pnimis of the mitzvahs is in the Beis HaMikdash. This principle is called parchal yela. The mitzvahs should fly up. And the parchal yela has to do with kavanah. The garments are created to the act of the mitzvahs. The idea that your mitzvah deposited in the Beis HaMikdash of a particular world is the av of a yida. And he uses the mashal of wings of a bird. A bird cannot fly without wings. A bird can't fly with one wing. You need both. The 2 wings are avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem. When you do a mitzvah, there's a kavanah. The kavanah is what deposits the mitzvah in a particular world. In Atzilas is Beis HaMikdash, in Bria is Beis HaMikdash, in Yitzir is Beis HaMikdash, and in Asiyah is Beis HaMikdash. If a person does a mitzvah with no kavanah at all, it remains in Elam Hazeh HaMaisa. So it's not Oila L'mayla. But you want it to going up L'mayla. Which world does it go to? It depends on the kavanah. And it's discussed later on in Perek Lametas and Perek Mem, 39 and 40. If you have a kavanah called Merkava, it's deposited in the Beis HaMikdash of Atzilus. You have a kavanah called the Chilu Rechimu Sichliyim. His bonus and Avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem. It's deposited in the Beis HaMikdash of El Mabriya, which is an intellectual world. If you have what's called the Chilu Rechimu Tivim, a love and Hashem, fear of Hashem, but it's a natural love and fear. It's not coming from the Mayach. It's deposited in the El Mayatzir. Now there's a 4th thing which doesn't say in Tanya, but it's brought in Chassidus, that when you do a mitzvah with a Kabbalah sale, but that the Kabbalah sale has a chayis, it's deposited in the Beis HaMikdash of Elam Ha'asiyah. And then when your neshama goes to that world, it gets the idea of the kavanah of mitzvah that it did. It's called parchal yela. So if a person's in a madrega of avodah tam, he learns and he meditates, and he has full-blown Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem, it's a no-brainer. He's depositing his mitzvahs in the Gan Eden of Elam Abriya, which is the world of Sechel, and when his Neshama returns to Elam Abriya, experiences. What about this Kach Yossi fellow that we're learning about now? The Bissli Yiddish Ahatzka. He doesn't have full-blown Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe is going to say that Bepashtus, his Teda and Mitzvah should go to Yitzira. But there's an idea that affects that his Teda and Mitzvah should go to Elam Habriya. A person learns, meditates, and doesn't have full-blown Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. He only wishes he had full-blown Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem, which the Alter Rebbe calls Kach Yossi, and we're calling it Abissala Yiddish Ahaz, a little Jewish sentiment, a little Jewish passion and feeling. So Bepashtus, it should go to Yitzira. For reasons we're about to explain, the Alter Rebbe says it's Parcha Li'ela Til Elam Habriya. So now we continue to read inside. And this idea that when you are deficient in your Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem, nevertheless, your Torah and mitzvahs are Parcha L'Yela because you have a Bissel Yiddish Hashem. You think you don't love Hashem, but if you're doing the mitzvahs, in fact, the behavioral translation of your learning and meditation is proof that there is passion involved. It's just not a lot of passion. It's concealed passion. And it's hinted in the Gemara. The Gemara says, Machshava Teva, a good thought, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah L'Maisa, Hashem links it to a deed. Now the word tziruf means connect. But the tziruf also means to repair, to correct, to refine, to perfect. So Gemara, the Gemara should have said, Mal Allah v'akosav kilo asa. If a person had a good thought to do a mitzvah and didn't do it, so the Gemara says, you thought about it and didn't do it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah. So the Alter Rebbe shouldn't say HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah. It should say, it's considered, Mal Allah v'akosav, it's considered as though you did it. Ella, so explains the Alter Rebbe, you misunderstand. This Gemara is not talking about a person who has a good thought to do a mitzvah and doesn't do it. Forget. He has a good thought, and he has an action also. He does it as well. But he's missing the domino of Ava V'yira. Machshava Teva means he learns and he thinks about the Eibishter. And he has Asiyah B'Peil Mamish. He's missing the domino of Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzvah, Hashem fixes his dominoes. He's missing the domino of Ava V'yira. The Eibishter provides Ava V'yira so that he has a complete system, even though he did not have full-blown Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. Ha'inyan is as follows. When a person has Yira, which is fully revealed, so hey, mitzvahs, they become infused in the behavioral deed of the mitzvah. To provide them with vitality. They should ascend upwards and they be deposited in Elam Abriya, which is a world of intellect. Why the heart? The heart is considered a base material organ. Kishar Evidim, like the rest of the limbs. Shem Kliyam Maisa, which are the vessels of deed. It's the inner and the vitality of them all. People do not live by their brains. It's implicit here that the brain is a ruchni is the keinya. The mind is a spiritual limb, organ. The heart is physical. Now, but then the heart is the pneumius of the other limbs. So we live by what we feel, not by what we do. This is a fact of life. People don't do what they understand. People do what they feel. Like you always say the same thing. You want proof? Go visit the outside of a hospital and see all the medical practitioners smoking cigarettes, and you'll understand what it means. That what you know in your brain is not how you live. What you know in your heart is how you live. So you live by your heart. So when a person has full-blown feelings for Hashem in his heart, the avodah tama bein, and he discussed at the beginning of this page, therefore, the emotions become infused in the deed, to be wings, that they should ascend and be deposited in Elam Abriya. What happens, however, when the fear and love, which is in the understanding of the mind, it's only hidden in the heart, which we've been learning about for the bulk of this page, called Kach Yossi, I wish I loved Hashem, or Abissal Yiddish Ahaz. Says the Alter Rebbe, Govu Drachem L'mayla Mayla. Those emotions are so high, they're so theoretical. In other words, since you're not feeling Hashem in an excited way in your heart, it's too far removed from your action.
This is rare, by the way?
What? This is common. Ava V'yira Begilu is rare. Ava V'yira that we wish we had is for nowadays. The Rebbe Greinim told the Rebbe Rashab over 80 years ago, we already used to the fact that we no longer have Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. In times of the Alter Rebbe, the Chassidim, Ava V'yira is a gewaldike madrege. Don't misunderstand. Says the Alter Rebbe, therefore it would be impossible, lohem, for a hidden, for a theoretical, for a Kach Yossi, for a Bissel Yiddish Ahad type of passion, le'eslabish, to be infused with B'chinas HaMaisa HaMitzvahs into the deed of mitzvahs, le'yes lahem, to be to them B'chinas Moichen V'chayas, an inner dimension and a vitality, laha'alois, to lift them up, le'parcha le'el, that it should fly up till Elam Abriya. Because since the Ava V'yira are B'talumas, they're hidden and they're not fully manifest, they're too spiritual, and they're too far removed from action. People do what they feel, not what they understand. And in this case, people do what they feel in a pronounced way, not what they feel in a hidden way. They wish they felt more. But that's not the way it happens. It's not that way. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibishter interferes. And he says, you are doing your best. That's the key point here. You're doing your best. You're learning. You're thinking. You don't have Ava Yira. You're doing mitzvahs b'peil mamish. Since you are doing your best, the Eibishter says, mitzarfon. Mitzarfon means he corrects them and repairs them and perfects them. Umachabram and links them to the B'chinas HaMaizer of the deed. And this Bissel Yiddish Ahad, this Kach Yossi Ahava, is called B'Shem Machshava Teva, a good thought. Ki Einon, you can't call them feelings, because Einon Dechilur Rechimu Mamish. It's not actual fear and love Mamish. Behez Galus Liebe that's revealed in the heart. Ki in Betvunas Moichai V'Talumas Liebe Kanal. It's understanding of the brain and the hidden recesses of the heart, and it's not manifest into actual passions. So you're missing the emotional link, which is the real wings that affect ascension of your mitzvahs to Leilam Abriyah. So the Eibishter provides it. Why? Because you did your best. Hagoh, this idea that it's conceivable that a person should be in a state where he can't develop full-blown feelings for Hashem except hidden feelings, which are called Tvunas Moiche, the understanding of the mind, with Alumas Liebe, in the hidden recesses of the heart, says the Rebbe, it's written in Kabbalah. The tvuna, that the word tvuna is Eisias Beinu Bas, has the same letters as the word Beinu Bas, son and daughter. And son and daughter, a daughter is Yira, and a son is Ahav. So when you have tvuna, tvuna means an understanding that includes the possibility for Yira and Ahav, but in tvuna it's hidden. No, daughter is Yira, and the son is Ahav. Zochar Chaste. There's a whole story in Chassidus about why this is, but this is the fact. Okay, well, sometimes that's tvuna yedid is the understanding in which is hidden Ava V'yira and not revealed descends L'yesmechen b'nukva de Zeirampin to become the pnimius of Moichin, of Nukva. Nukva means Malchus, which is action of Zeirampin. Shein Eis is the Teirav HaMitzvahs, which are the letters and words of behavioral Teirav HaMitzvahs are Maskal Yavin. In other words, tvuna is Ben Ubas. Right? What's the problem with tvuna being Ben Ubas? Tvuna being Ben Ubas means that in your brain you have your son and your daughter. Your son and your daughter are not supposed to be in your brain. Your son and daughter are supposed to be separate from you. In other words, from your understanding, you're supposed to have full-blown emotions. When your emotions are in a state of tvuna, they're hidden in your brain, you don't love Hashem. It says the Zohar, sometimes your tvuna goes straight to nukva. Tvuna going straight to nukva is exactly the same idea that Alter Rebbe is discussing in this Perek. You're using what you know in your brain to affect what you do, and you're missing the emotional link. It's supposed to be like this: tvuna, ben ubas, which is ava v'yira, and then nukva. Here we're saying that tvuna, the way the ben ubas are hidden in the moichin, come straight to nukva to affect your asiyah, because you're missing the level of full-blown emotion. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitzaref. Says the Rebbe, I want you to understand something. Back to the text now. That tziruf zeh, this correction, that mitzaref HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem corrects and links, and provides us with full-blown emotions even though we're missing them. He considers it as though we have full-blown emotions. It's kedei lahalef, to affect ascension, to lift up. My son, mitzvah v'etzika Torah, the performance of mitzvahs and the study of Torah, hanasam adei machshava Torah, now done through this good thought which is missing behavioral emotions. It's adel mabriya, till the world of Bria, which is mekayim, the place and level of aliyas Torah mitzvahs, the ascent of Torah mitzvahs, hanasam that are achieved, aidei dechilu rechimu sichlim, through yira and ava, which is intellectual. In other words, the higher madrega, which will be discussed in Tanya Perek Lametes and Mem. Asher bezgalas, which is hidden. But even if Hashem would not affect mitzvah lemaisa, they would go up to the world of Yitzira, because you do have fear and love that is natural, which is hidden in the hearts of the Jews collectively. And over here, Ava Mesutares Taka means Pintalayid, because it has the words Kol Yisrael, which is discussed in chapters 18 and on. You're a Yid, you have a Pintalayid. If you reveal the Pintalayid even a little bit, you affect that it should be deposited in Elam HaYetzirah. This fellow who's learning and thinking and missing Ahavas Hashem, Yiras Hashem, is just as good as the Pinta Yid Ahava. So we would go to Yetzirah. The Pshat HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzarfa is that it goes to Elam HaBriyah.